Yep. Hi, everybody. Delinda here, and so happy you've decided to join us for Let's Chat, stories of faith that uplift and inspire. And my beautiful guest today is Aly Porter, and she has such a beautiful story to share with you. She's an amazing one. We met, what, Aly, about 3 years ago or something?
Yeah, I think it's been about 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This is way like I'm so grateful that we're finally doing this. This is way overdue. So I'm so grateful that we're finally here and thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. You're like one of the first people I thought of when it's like, okay, as God worked on me about a year, okay, to get these started. I'm a little slow learner sometimes. Like, how many times do you have to tell me, God, before I do something? But it finally happened, and I thought, I gotta get Aly on, because I just know your heart. I know how much you love him and to serve him and everything. So let's just start right off and just tell us a little bit about where did your faith journey start? When did you become a Christian? What does that look like for
Mhm.
you?
Yeah, I mean, I was telling you this earlier. Like I do feel like I've been a Christian my entire life from the second I was born. But I will say when I was saved was when I was 8 years old, I was baptized. And so from then on, even before that, I always, knew that I was a child of God. I love Jesus. Like it was just part of who I was. And it was a huge part of my upbringing, my childhood. We went to church every Sunday and Wednesday and all the things like being very active in our church, but at the same time, there was this curiosity and this desire to know him even more. So I would find myself, wanting to read, the scriptures and really pray to him in a deeper way. And then when I was probably, I don't know, in my teenage years, I questioned some things and everything, but I still was very much like he's part of my life. Like this is important to me. And then and I was telling you this earlier too. I had to have my own conversion, like in a big way. Probably when I was married, when I first got married, and then again about 2 years ago, I really was wrestling with some things and really coming to know him again. And so, even though I've been saved, even though
Oh no, you are a little frozen for me.
to continue to be connected to him. And I'm sorry, can you hear me okay? I think my internet's a little
I'm
unstable.
gonna say, yeah, you froze there for about the last 30 seconds.
Okay. So basically what I was saying just is that I really really wanted to be connected to him. I wanted to be able um to dive into knowing him even more. But I feel like for me, I needed to be connected to him and recommit my life every time. Like even though I was saved at 8 years old, like I still feel like it's always good to be obedient. It's always good to like reassess and be like, okay, how can I um love you more? How can I share the light, more with others, So it's been a journey and a constant renewing for me personally. So it's been awesome.
Yeah, and I think that's true. I mean, I believe, it sounds like you may have come from Baptist background.
Yeah, so I'm actually LDS, so Latter-day Saint,
Oh, okay.
Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saint. Yeah. Hmm.
I think it is a journey. So once we're saved, once we
Hmm.
actually accept Christ, I think he's constantly cleansing us.
Yes.
He's already
Yes.
forgiven us. We're going to be with him in heaven, no doubt about
Hmm.
that. But there's areas of our life that as we grow and mature, as we age, let's just say,
Hmm.
there's things in our life that he needs to clean up,
Yes.
and we all have different parts. One of mine, and I won't go into big details, was when my kids were little, I got so into watching soap operas. Now, I'm not saying
Mm.
they're bad, but he began to work on me that was not what he wanted me doing, because I began to
Mhm.
get a little unsatisfied with my life because of
Mm.
watching those. And
Mhm.
so when he started talking to me about that, so I just, I gave those up because I knew it was him talking to me. So I
Yeah.
think we each have those things that he constantly brings up to us to cleanse, that
Mhm.
he wants us to get better and to grow in him. And I think what you're
Yeah.
talking about is exactly that. Just those
Yes.
different things. And sometimes we go, our own way and make our own decisions and do things that he really might not want us doing, but we kind of
Mhm.
do it anyway. So he has to reel us back and say, come on, trust me.
Yep.
Yeah.
So true, so true. I love that. Yeah. And I think the more that we renew our faith in him and stuff, I just think that brings us closer together. I mean, it allows us to have a deeper relationship with him, right? It's not like we
Absolutely.
just pray to him and then we go about our day, it's like, "Hey, hope you're doing well. Bye." It's not like that. It's like, "Hey, like I want to be your servant. I want to go out. I want to serve. I want to like help and be a light to other people. How do you want me to do that? Like what does that look like?" You know what I mean? And so I love what you're doing with this show and just everything you've been doing, even with your group and just everything. I love how you are being a light for him, and I feel like I'm doing the same thing, and it's just so beautiful when we can come together, in that.
Yeah, it really is. Well, I think you probably have a few stories you could tell us about those maybe aha moments or how
Mm,
God, you just know something was so God. You know,
yes.
Want to just
Yes.
share that with us?
Yeah, I have so many stories, but I'll just share a couple.
Okay.
So the first one was actually, and I don't remember this because I was a baby at the time, but I was born premature, so I was born 3 months early, and I weighed 1 pound and 7 ounces, and I
Oh
was
my
the size of
gosh.
a dollar bill. And they honestly didn't think I was going to make it, so I was in the NICU for, like I said, 3 months, and there it was touch and go. Like there were so many things that happened. I got pneumonia. Like they gave me like a 10% chance of living. It was not good. And at that time, they didn't have all the technology they do now. So it was a miracle that I lived. So that was one. Just the fact that I'm here today and the fact that I don't really have any huge issues. I did have like a brain hemorrhage and stuff like that. So I walk with a slight limp, but other than that, like I don't have any issues. And I'm able to walk, run, jump, play, like do all the things. Um and so my very life, I feel like, is a miracle from God, and we are all miracles. And I keep telling my kids that because they're like, "Well, mom, you're the miracle baby and stuff." I'm like, "I know, but every single baby is a miracle." And so that right there just kind of started my life off on a like, okay, I'm so grateful for every breath that I get to breathe. I'm so grateful that I can see, that I can hear, that I can, do what I'm doing. And so that's one. Another story is, and this is kind of a funnier one, but my husband has always wanted a husky, like for forever. Like he always tells me every time, he's like, "I just want a husky so bad." And I grew up with no pets, like at all. Well, that's not true. I had like fish and like gerbils and stuff, so it wasn't a big deal. But I'm not really like, or wasn't a really big pet person, and so by some miracle, it was, I think, like 2 months ago, maybe a month and a half ago, my one of my husband's grad students, because my husband is a PhD, he works at a university. One of his grad students came in and brought in a baby husky, like a puppy, like a tiny little puppy husky, and she had rescued it because it had been abandoned or something, and she just knew that my husband liked huskies, so she just was showing it to him. And he sent me this picture of this little husky puppy and was like, "Can we keep her, please?" You know? And I'm just thinking to myself, like, normally I would be like, absolutely not, because every time that we've ever talked about dogs, it's just been like, no, never. I'm not gonna have a dog. I'm not a dog person, whatever. But for some reason, this little dog just like it was literally a God thing. It was like, this is your dog. Like you will adopt this dog. And so I ended up saying like, "Yeah, I'm actually open to it," which is so weird. And so we ended up bringing her home, and we had to jump through a bunch of hoops and everything, but we were able to bring her home. And she has been the best thing that has ever happened to our family. Like it's like she's brought our family closer together. She is just, I don't know. It's like she has this special spirit in our home, which is just so awesome. And so my husband got his husky, And I amazingly turned into a dog mom. I don't know. I don't know how it happened, but it's a God thing. Totally. And everybody that knows me is like, what the what? You were like so anti-dog, like any anti-animal, really. Not that I don't like animals, just not in my house, you know. So
Right, right.
but it was hilarious. So that's one. And then the last one I wanted to share was my business partner and I partnering together. So um, God knew that I love business and that I'm a dreamer. I love anything entrepreneurial. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I have visions and with grandeur, and I just want to help people in a big way in the marketplace. But I have struggled with being able to follow through on things and being able to see my visions into reality, right? And so about a year ago, roughly, maybe a year and a half ago, I met this gal named Elise Smith. And so her and I are now partners in business. But the way that we met each other and we instantly like we had a connection where we were just like, wow, like we are yin and yang. Like it is so like everything that I'm not good at, she's really good at, and vice versa. Like it's like we were made to be business partners. So it was really, really cool. And then what we've created since October has been massive, like monumental. Like I can't even describe to you the quantum leaps that we've had, the ability that we've had to see God's hand in every single step of our business and what worked and what didn't work and what we've had to let go of and what we're um, currently doing. And it's just been amazing. It's been so, so amazing. Um, and so that could only be God because he knew that she needed someone to help her dream again. And I needed someone that could actually take my dreams and put it into reality. And it's been the best thing that ever happened to us. And so yeah, so those are my stories in terms of how God's shown up in my life. And there's so many more, but just being able to see how something as significant as your birth to getting a dog, to even running your business, like God is in all the details. He is in every single thing in your life, and it's just so beautiful to see that um God's hand in everything. So hopefully that answered your question. Sorry, that was kind of
Oh,
long, but
no, 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 no. Do not be sorry. That's what this whole show is about. So, um, yeah, I love that because everybody has a story or more than
Mhm,
one, but
mhm.
all of the different pieces that bring that story together. In regard to the dog, I think that's so pretty. Those are the prettiest dogs. I mean, they are
Mm.
just beautiful. And
Yes.
I can imagine it would be hard to resist a picture of a little husky puppy. They're so darn
Oh my God.
cute. Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
yeah, it was like impossible basically is what it came down to. But yeah, and she's the best dog ever. Like she's so sweet and she's just the best. I mean, she has her moments where she's like crazy because she's a puppy, right? So we're still
Right,
working on
right.
the biting and stuff like that. But overall, like she's just been the best dog ever. Like it's almost like he created her just for me. Like me personally, not even just my family, but me personally, because he knew that like I needed her in my life. So it's
Yeah.
just beautiful.
And it had to be the
Beautiful.
right dog.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
our God does care about the details. Somebody might
Mhm.
say, what does God, why would the God want to get involved with you getting a dog?
Mhm. Mhm.
Because what a dog, what pets do, they soften us.
Yes.
They do something. I don't know. I've just
Mhm.
always had a dog. I just love them.
Mhm.
When you, just briefly tell us. So you have a family. You're
Mhm.
married.
Yep.
I know you have kids. Tell us about your family life or whatever.
Yeah. So I have 4 kids. My oldest is 15, and then I have 14, and then 10, and then 8. So I have 3 girls and then a boy. And I'm sorry if you can hear them in the background. They're all home, so there's all kinds of stuff going on, but hopefully you can't hear them.
I think I
Um,
can.
but so that's them. And then I've been married for we're going on 19 years.
Awesome. Very good.
19 years.
Yay.
Yeah, so we're it's crazy. We're it's crazy to me that I've been married that
Yeah.
long.
Well, I
But
would
yeah.
imagine 4 kids. I've always said that anybody with more than 2 kids is a saint because I Can't figure out how you can do that.
Well, I would say after 2, like, anything after 2 just feels like a lot. So, because I noticed that,
Oh,
like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I was just like, after 3, it was like, "Oh, it's 1 more, it's fine." But I really like, 4 is like my limit. I'm like almost over, like, yeah, but it's beautiful. I'm so glad we have the kids we do. So, it's
Yeah, yeah.
good.
And where do you live?
We live in Texas, so we live in Fort Worth, Texas.
In Fort Worth.
My
Okay.
husband teaches, exercise physiology at, TCU. So, yeah,
Nice. Yeah,
it's
that's
pretty
great.
awesome.
Well, one of the
Yeah,
things I most recall because I was so impressed when we first met. First of all, I just love your spirit and love who you are. You know that.
thank you.
Um, but the thing that the main thing you talked about when we first met was before you went into this partnership with Elise and stuff. And I've
Mhm.
been watching all the stuff you've been doing that I'm going to have you talk a little bit more about that. But was the thing when you talked about your lead out was God being your CEO.
Yep.
And talk about that just a little bit.
Yes, thank you for asking that. And yes, that has actually been part of my brand and my mission forever. Like that even was before Elise, before, everything. So,
Mhm.
so for me, and we kind of talked about this a little bit, but I really feel like when you're in life and when you're in business, you really do want to keep God at the center of everything you do, because if you keep him at the center and he is your CEO, he's the one at the helm, right? Everything else will fall into place or it will fall away. And I really believe that. I've seen that in my life over and over and over again. When I try and rely on myself, things just don't work out the way the way that they need to. And it doesn't mean that everything's perfect either when God is the CEO, because life happens, right? You have things that happen, but you're able to navigate life, business, and everything in between with him at the center. And so that has just been my biggest thing, is just keeping him as my CEO, because then I can take direction from him. I can allow him to be the one that I go to versus someone else or even myself.
Mhm. And I love that. It just is such a clear way of specifying it.
Hmm.
And years ago, I had read a book about Jesus as a CEO, but I'd never
Hmm.
heard anybody talk about it. And then
Hmm.
when we met, because that's where we aligned together on that. We both
Yes.
totally believe that. But I
Yes.
love the clarity of vision that gives. I mean, it's very
Yeah.
simple, but it
Yeah. And it
really,
makes it, and I will say it makes making decisions a lot easier.
yeah.
It makes it just makes it does. It gives lots of clarity where there could be a lot of muddiness.
Mhm.
So I really, yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up. Thank you.
Yeah, no, that was the main thing that I really zoned into when we first met. It's like, okay, I'm loving that. And I think you still have it on your background of things. I think it's still
Yes,
in
we
there.
still,
Yeah.
yes, it's very much still a part of our brand and what we do. And it's very, like, even when we close our videos out, or when we do anything, like, we're always like, keep God as your CEO, like, that's what we say every single time. So it's beautiful.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, and if you think about it, in business and in life too, it, like, everything that we have comes from God, right? So our businesses come from God. The very air that we breathe comes from God. And so why not keep him as the CEO? Why not keep him as the center? Because then that really allows you to not take a back seat, but you are able to be more clear-headed. You are able to make better decisions. You're able to realize that, like, everything that you have is his, so you're going to give it to him anyways.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. And
yeah.
the and it gives you that place to fall back on. Like, okay, so Lord, I'm not seeing this. I don't understand what you're doing, but hey, you're in charge here. So I'm just gonna keep moving that direction. Because one of the things I did a Bible study years ago called Experiencing God. I don't know if you've heard of it, but
Yes, I have heard of that one. That's beautiful. I love that one.
it is. And I've done it like 3 times, okay, because you know how we change and along the years, our priorities shift. Hopefully, our priorities stay with Christ first. Okay, I'm not saying that, but just as we're growing and God's growing us, as a matter of fact, we look at things differently, and how we read the Scripture is different. How He talks to us is different. But the one thing that I remember from that study all three times was how it talked about really joining God where God is working. Instead of saying, okay, Lord, bless what I'm doing here. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, Lord,
Hmm.
where are you moving? And I want to align with you. And it's a
Yes.
different mindset. It's a different perception when we align ourselves with what God's doing and where He's leading us. And if we just I always had this big thing about, God's will. I want to do God's will. Well, what in the world is God's will? Well, that Bible study really opened my eyes to that. And I think other women, everybody, but we both talk mostly to women. So as women, we think that there is, and there may be a big aha out there. I don't know what he has for everybody, but what he wants is relationship. I mean, what God's will is, here it is. It's so simple to have relationship with him. So if we're walking with him today, we'll be where he wants us to be tomorrow and next year and 5 years down the road. And it's so simple, but not really always easy to do. Have you found that to be true?
Oh my gosh, yes. Yes, so many times in so many different ways. And I loved how you said that having God's will, what does that actually mean? And really it isn't about I loved that. I love when you were like, it's not like we're having him bless us, with what we're doing. We need to align ourselves with him and then take the action and then do the thing, and honestly, his will is the best. Like, and it sometimes doesn't look the way that we want it to look or the way that we think it should look. And that's when we get to have the faith. That's where the faith comes in, where we get to just be like, okay, I don't quite understand this, Lord, but I trust you. I trust that what you're asking me to do or what I'm, needing to accomplish here or let go of or whatever, like I trust you.
Mhm.
And um and I think if we didn't want to have our will aligned with his, we would just do whatever we want anyways. And when we have our will aligned with his, then we're willing to have the faith even if we don't quite understand or even if things look, different than we thought they would or whatever. Because he really does work everything out for our good.
Yeah.
Everything.
And it really is, like you said, you're right. It is the faith and the trusting um, that, and just trusting him with it, not pull it back and say, well, I'll take it for a while, Lord. No, you go ahead, just keep it because he's got our back. He knows what's best for us and he knows how he's designed us. So it actually gives us such freedom, by having him as our CEO, by knowing that he's got this, that we're walking in the path daily of where he wants us to be. It it's so freeing to be able to do that. And I know non-Christians oftentimes think, well, you're being, I don't know, how they think about it is so different than what it really is. God's wisdom is, foolishness to the
Yeah.
world. They just don't get it.
Yeah,
Um, but just
exactly.
walking in faith with him um, gives a lot of peace as well as just freedom in our life.
Hmm. Yes, it does. It does. And even in those times when we feel like maybe it's not exactly the way that we want or the way, we still have that knowing that he's got us. You know what I mean? Like even if there's like those tumultuous times or those hard things, and I apologize, my kids keep going in and out, so I'm sorry. But even if there is, lots of things happening, you can still have that like trust and that ability to just fully rely on him. And he just helps you to navigate life, navigate your business, navigate whatever it is. And that's why he's my CEO, because if I had to do it myself, oh my gosh, it would just fall
Right.
apart, like it would just completely fall apart. So,
So it is.
yeah.
Well, as we begin to close things up here, tell us a little bit more about what you're doing in your business. So I know
Mm,
your faith is who you are. And
mhm.
so, but that you've really incorporated that so much into your business. So tell me a
Yes.
little bit more about what you're doing.
Yeah. So basically the title that I've given myself is basically the Christian Connector Concierge. And what this means is basically we are here to help Christian entrepreneurs to 10x their faith, 10x their finances, and 10x their future. And we do that through really helping people to be connected with resources, tools, people, and opportunities that can bring them closer to God and help them in the marketplace, help them build their business, help them be connected to the right people, the right tools, the right things. And so Elise and I have really taken that to the next level. We no longer do coaching programs. We don't have anything personal that we sell. We have a couple courses that we've done in the past, right? So you can still get those if you want, but we really have dove into what it means to be a true connector. And it's not just about connecting people with the resources and tools and stuff. All of that's great. And so we actually do want to partner with Delinda because we want to connect you with her too, because she's freaking awesome. But aside from that, the other key piece to this is helping people to really get closer to Christ, right? Like that's the goal. The goal in business for me is to help people to see themselves as God sees them, to see their potential of what he's created them to be. And so that is one of our huge missions, is to just spread the light, spread the good news, and to just be open to wherever God takes that. So we don't have like parameters around it. We're just here to spread light and love to people, and to really remember whose we are, right? And so that is what we do. We have a really cool assessment that people can take. It's free. If you go to m2connector.com, so it's the letter M, the number 2, that stands for Millionaire Momentum. m2connector.com. We have everything there. We have a free community people can join. We have free networking events you can go to. We start with prayer. We do scripture and all kinds of stuff, which is really fun. It sets up the networking events to have divine connections, which is super cool. And then we have an assessment that you can take that's free, that will pair you with whatever you're looking for, whether it's a person, a resource, a tool, whatever. And we really find joy and fulfillment in that, because again, we're not just doing something secular, but we're doing something that is Christ-centered, that is, bringing light and life to people in the marketplace. And I've just loved how I've been able to, along with Elise too, I've been able to really partner God in everything that I do. And I'm not going to pretend and say that like I know all the answers, or that because I'm partnering with God, there isn't some things that still happen in life, right? But what I am saying is glory be to God in all things, and everything is all for my good. And so, including entrepreneurship, and most importantly, entrepreneurship, because I feel like that's the gift and the calling that he's put on my life. And so it's just been really, really fun to see how that works. And the other thing that I really love is we love multiple income streams. I feel like living in God's economy is basically making the pie bigger for everyone. And so that's what we do inside of our system, inside of our community. I won't go into all the details, but basically we're here to make the pie bigger for everyone. It isn't about you take a piece of the pie and now I have less. It's that we just keep making the pie bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And we live in the overflow. And that's really what that's what God does. So
Absolutely. And I do think, of course, this is a conversation we could go on forever. It's about God's abundance. When he says,
Yes.
I want you to have life and have it in abundance, that
Yes.
it can be material, it can be abundance of faith, abundance of joy, abundance
Yes.
of peace.
Mhm.
All of that is what he wants for us. But
Mhm.
sometimes I feel, and I see it a lot, that Christians often think, well, I'm not supposed to have money. I'm not supposed to have income.
Right.
Well, that is so wrong, because
Yep.
we can only give what we have. You cannot
Yes.
give what you do not have. So
Mhm.
if your heart wants to help out different causes, for instance,
Mhm.
if your heart wants to help the homeless or whatever, but you
Mhm.
have no means yourself,
Mhm.
then what are you going to do? So God
Exactly.
opens up doors for us to have the means to
Mhm.
give to what he calls us to give. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
he's not going to call you and help want you to desire to help all these people wherever they're in, they're local or regional or worldly.
Mhm.
Um, he's going to give us the ability to do that if we'll allow ourselves to be open. But women
Yeah.
very often shut down before they get there because the world's conditioned us to that. I mean, like I said,
Mhm.
it's a topic we could talk forever, but
Mhm.
I think you're right. The bigger the pie is as big as the world. I mean, the
Mhm.
pie is as big as God, and then you can't
Mhm.
beat that. And we cannot outgive God. So if we
Mhm.
just open ourselves to allow Him to bless us, then we can
Mhm.
turn around and bless others. And
Yeah.
that's the disconnect that happens sometimes, I think, mentally.
Yes. And I'm so glad that you brought that up because that is one of the myths or the beliefs that we as a company, as Millionaire Momentum, we are here to break that. We want to break those chains of poverty and of lack on Christians because God is not in poverty and he is not in lack. You know what
No,
I'm
it's not.
saying? And so the more that we, like you said, the more that we have, the more we can give. And money is just a tool. It's just a tool to help other people. And it's neutral. If it's in the wrong hands, then it's not used for good. If it's in the right hands, it can do so much good. It can do so much good. But then also on the flip side of that, if you have so much love, if you have so much joy, if you have so much help, if you have so much, whatever, like it can only be used for good, right? And so that's kind of our goal is it's not millionaire as in um just monetarily. It's millionaire as in the way you feel about yourself and then what you are able to do because you know that you're a child of God and so on and so on. And so so that's really the message that we want to bring to the entrepreneurial space specifically, and really help people to break out of we want their businesses to flourish. We want them to be able to create everything that God wants them to create so that we can make this world a better place. And so that's what we're doing. Millionaire Momentum. That's what we do.
I love that. Like
So,
that is so great. Well,
yeah.
it has been so fun chatting here with you.
Yes.
It's just I love how God opens up the doors, how He brought us together through another
Mhm.
networking group, and we knew immediately as soon as we met each other. God
Yes.
connected us, so I love that, and I just wish you the best in your business. I mean,
Thank you.
God's in charge; He's the CEO, so I'm not worried about it.
I know.
But I
I'm
do.
not worried either.
I just love seeing that, and wish you all the success and
Thank
the
you.
I think when we keep him as CEO, when we give him the glory, then that's when it all comes together. So
Yeah.
I
It
love
really
seeing
does.
what you're doing. Yeah, for sure.
Yes. Well,
So
thank you, and I wish you nothing but the best in your business as well, and I think when we do that, when we truly mean that, and we, like, are like, there's no competition in the kingdom, and I say that
right,
all the time, but there really isn't. There is enough for everyone and more
and
than that.
more.
And so when you truly bless someone and say, "I'm so excited for your business and what you're doing," like, truly mean it. Don't just say it, like, cheer them on, give them referrals, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah,
Exactly,
it's
exactly.
beautiful.
It really is. So thank you for being on. I so
Thank
appreciate
you.
any last thing you want to share before we go.
So the only thing that I'll say in closing is this is what I say at the end of everything that I do. And it's very intentional. And so I always say three things. I say stay inspired because when you're inspired, you're in spirit, and then you're able to do better and be better and you know be more closer to God, right? So stay inspired, believe in Christ, because obviously if you believe in him, then anything is possible. And then the last one is receive. Receive the wealth and the prosperity that God has for you. And obviously keep him as your CEO. That's the key right there.
I love it. Well, God
So
bless you, my friend. Blessings indeed is what I wish for you.
I love
So,
it.
thanks again for being here, everybody. You may not really understand what Aly and I are talking about being a Christian. Maybe you're not a Christian. You don't understand what we're talking about. How can God be our CEO? If you want to just stay on, we're going to sign off here. But right after this is a 2-minute video that just tells you a little bit more about being a Christian. What does that mean? How you can accept Christ. And if you ever have any questions, reach out to me. me, you can reach out to Aly. Anybody I ever have on the show, we'll be happy to share that with you. So thank you again for being here. And to all of you, blessings indeed. Bye now.